Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Off the Bench podcast. My name is Joseph Diamond, and I'm here today with my dad, Ned Diamond, basketball coach at BHS and math teacher at Crystal Springs Upland School. How we feeling, Dad?
Feeling great. Happy to be here, Joseph.
Nice. Okay. We'll cut this part out. Well, then, let's jump right in. Well, Dad, introduce yourself so the audience gets to know you better.
Well, people probably know me as the son of the famous podcaster Joseph Diamond. Um, California and East Coast guy, bi-coastal guy. Love teaching math. Been math teacher for 30 years. Coached basketball for about the same amount of time. High school basketball. Love the game. Love what sports does for kids, and love being your dad. Love watching you play sports and your sister play as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's jump right into the questions here. Why did you decide to choose a profession in sports like mentoring, coaching, and teaching?
Well, sports had such an impact on me at an early age. I still remember the day I started playing basketball with my dad, your grandfather. We built a backboard in Connecticut where we used to live out of wood and bought a rim and sunk a pole in cement and had so much pride. Learned how to do that and then playing with my dad. He even taught me, we play one on one. He even taught me ball fakes even work when you're going one on one. He'd fake one way and I'd pretend like I'd go that way because I thought he was passing someone, even though it was just the two of us. So a lot of memories of playing sports, playing soccer in the backyard, playing baseball with my friends, tackle football. I just feel like sports is a unifier, and it's real. You don't have to create fake situations. A lot of situations occur that help people work through conflict or getting to know other people. And I think I I can't find a better medium for meeting new people, whether it's pick up basketball or this weekend as we learn even pickleball, you meet new people. So sports unifies people and I love being a part of it. And as far as like coaching, high school is such a pivotal time in people's lives. It's a tough time, a lot of social things going on, but to know that you're going to show up at practice with 12 to 15 people every day that are going to be there for you, it's like nothing beats that small community. So
Yeah,
and in practice, I think since I was 9 years old, and I'm 52 now, and so I can't imagine another way.
awesome. Well, do you think implementing these sports values into your teaching and like on the first week of school, like telling your students these values, do you think that's helped you in your teaching career?
Oh, absolutely. We always talk about family. Like I really try to build a family culture in my math classroom. Now, sports, you're all fighting for one goal. Essentially, you're trying to do the best you can. In classroom, everyone kind of has their own goals, but I do kind of talk about we're a family, got to be there for each other. We kind of joke around like you would on a sports team and give each other a hard time. And I think it helps bring the class together. And then having the standard of hard work, like and fundamentals, whether I teach calculus, like I always talk about we have to be really good at the fundamentals before we can problem solve. And that's the same thing as like doing your layups or your vitamins as basketball practice. They say do your vitamins before you start to warm up. So um, I think it's helped me have a unique angle with the students. And I actually think it helps me with relationships. I coach some of the people that I teach. So to see them in after school and also during the school day, I think is very helpful.
Okay, quick question. What do people like misunderstand about you the most? Since you're in both worlds of sports and academics, does anybody like make weird assumptions?
I think maybe some people think I'm silly or don't take things seriously because I'm such a positive, happy person and I like to find the joy in things. But like uh, I'm pretty serious. Actually, someone once said, "You're harder on us in basketball than you are in the classroom," and I'm probably more organized in basketball than in the classroom as far as like my obsessiveness of preparation. Um, Maybe because also I've been teaching for so long, so I'm tweaking things here and there. But in basketball, you got to make sure 15 people in a gym are on the same page, and so I feel like it takes a lot more preparation, and you have to think about the space. So I think people may think I'm silly because sometimes I go crazy and like kind of not like quite like Danny Hurley, but I do like to have a little fun, and I think they may think I'm not very serious at times, but I'm probably more serious than people think. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm pretty serious?
I mean, yeah, he coaches our AAU team. He can sometimes get mad, but you definitely keep things organized. Speaking of Danny Hurley, if you could have a meeting or a dinner with any coach or mentor, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I'd probably say if you asked me that question 10 years ago, I'd probably say John Wooden, just because I've read so much about him. I love the Pyramid of Success. He was very successful as a basketball coach, and he has a similar background that I have. He was an English teacher in Indiana growing up, and then he went on to be a college coach, I believe at Purdue, and then eventually at UCLA. But I'm really infatuated with Brad Stevens, who was the Celtics coach. He was most famous probably in college for coaching Butler and on almost upsetting Duke. He's within a half court shot um, at the buzzer to beat Duke that just went in and out. But I like him because of his demeanor on the sideline and how much he got out of his talent. And he's really all about the process. He doesn't really get caught up in the results, and that's very hard for me at times and not worry about the results. And so I'd love to talk with him. He's also a businessman. I think he was worked at Eli Lilly, which is a pharmaceutical company, right out of college, and was a salesman. And so he has some business sense. And now he's a GM, overseeing things at Celtics. I just think he'd be interesting to talk about lots of things because he's seen basketball from so many different angles, and he seems like a
Why?
real wholesome person.
Yeah. What happened in that? What happened in that 10-year span that changed your perspective on who you would want to meet and talk with?
Well, I just didn't know that much about Stevens. I kind of saw him at Butler, and then I didn't know it wasn't until he had success at the Celtics. So I was like, wow, like he can. It's very rare a college coach goes to the NBA and has success and can connect with players. One of my favorite coaches was Mike Montgomery at Stanford. He was fantastic to local coaches here. He let us go see his practices, and very few coaches do that. They're always worried about will you steal something or video something. He never really was concerned about that at all. In fact, when he was with the Warriors, he let my team come and watch them as well. But so I was really amazed by Montgomery, but he just wasn't able to do it at the NBA level. I was surprised. He had a tough point guard deal with Baron Davis, who is kind of a savvy veteran. I don't think Baron Davis really wanted to deal with a college coach, but the fact that Brad Stevens was able to do that, um, and he was a big analytics guy as well, just kind of flipped the switch. I mean, Wooden had more talent than everyone else, and I also have heard him talk at a conference. I think it was in Vegas when I was just starting out teaching coaching, maybe in 1996, with Albert Carwan, if you remember him at my school. He's still there, legendary track and cross country coach at Crystal. But he and I sat in and listened to John Wooden give his pyramid of success like by heart, like every single stone and all the stories without looking at a single piece of paper. And he's probably like at that time he's probably like 85, 86. I don't know. He lived to 100, I
Wow.
think. But so yeah, I think I feel like I know about him. I really don't know that much. I would like to learn more about Brad Stevens.
Do you feel like there's any, like how you said, a college coach going to the NBA and having to deal with different uh, complainers, haters? Do you feel like since you've moved from coaching at Crystal to BHS, do you did you feel anything similar to that?
No, I mean, I definitely had to make an adjustment coaching boys versus girls. It's very different. And I've actually said I'd never coach girls. I coached girls volleyball at Crystal my first 3 years, and they were middle school girls, and some of them my advisees and students. So it was more like I felt like it was Uncle Ned coaching a bunch of girls playing volleyball. But I always feel like girls, it's best for them to have a female role model coaching them. I know there's a lot of successful basketball coaches who are male, like Gino Auriemma, who's the famous UConn coach. And I know I've talked to some of my students who actually say they do better when a guy coaches them than a girl. But I had to make an adjustment. I have hired a female assistant, which was very good to help me understand, some of the things that I was wondering. And it's just the sense of humor is different, the emotions are different, um, and obviously style play is much different as well, speed, strength, and I don't know, but I've actually just really felt like this group of girls at Burlingame really bonded and got to play better, and that's all I'm trying to do every year is get them to play better, and it's actually helped me simplify coaching. I think people say, the best coaches are they say keep it simple, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Like don't overdo things. I think my tendency, as you know, with me is like sometimes complicate things, and so I'm this team coaching Burlingame has really helped me because a lot of them are basketball players. They don't play outside versus the guys I coach usually play on an AU team. So I have
Yeah,
to really keep it simple. So, um, but I think at first they were, I had to build their trust. I've always coached on campus, so it was kind of hard being an off-campus coach. I don't know if that's the same thing as a college coach being coming into the NBA. I know it takes a while for a college coach, the referees to know them and get calls and everything, but you got to definitely like earn your stripes. But yeah, I think I've adjusted coaching girls, and I really enjoy it, and I'm really excited about the coming season. As you know, I sent you some plays for you to look at, and we do on our heads up basketball team, and I really simplified it. Basically, up screen, down screen, you can combine them. Screen to screen or flex that Bruce Pearl at Auburn has kind of brought back into popularity, and then that famous UCLA cut that John Wooden. I have to have a little John Wooden in this.
yeah. Um, is this the type of advice you would give to a coach who is just starting their coaching career?
Yeah, I mean, I love basketball for the strategy part, so it took me a while to learn that it's not so much basketball plays as it is um, player development. I mean,
Okay.
you can't win without players, so that should have told me earlier in my career that it really needs to be about player development because it doesn't matter how much strategy you have. I'm in love with the chess game. As you know, I love playing chess, although you beat me now. So I got to
Yep.
up my chess game. I got to read some things about openings and stuff like that. But it is all about player development. That's what I say to people, new coaches, like have simple plays. And actually, I watched YouTube, and Chris Collins has this thing. He was running through some Duke stuff. Like we have this play called down, and I watched it. And I was like, what? Like that is your play? And all it is like a wide pin down screen, and someone just comes right off it. You can even see it now. John Shire has it. Like they come off one screen, or they come off Concanippo comes off two screens, and then they read the defense from there. So it's just wild to to realize that it just can be so simple. So that's what I would say to coaches. And then when you're doing drills, make all your drills a reflection of how you want to play. So not just
Okay.
random shooting stuff. Like we're gonna do down screen drills, like learn how to come off it, and play small sided games. So that's very much in popular right now. In the popular point of view is play 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and keep it simple.
Um, Speaking of John Shire and his talented Duke team, they have a very strong recruiting class. Do you feel like in high school it is harder to compete against private schools for better recruits or a more talented team?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, private schools can really get kids from any city to go to their school,
NIL deals?
and public schools can just get the kids in their area. Of course, there's maybe their parents work at the school and they live in, I don't know, Daly City, but they go to Burlingame because their parents work in this district or work at the school, or you can move into a district you want, you know. But and I've heard that happen before. But yeah, private schools have a huge advantage also because of the resources they can offer. You know, they
Yeah.
have the weight
Uh,
rooms, they have all the gear. You know, we have to fundraise for everything in a public school. That was very new to me. Um,
do you
and because of Crystal, you just get all your gear, even coaching gear. You had the weight room. Not many people are in the weight room, so um, just like not as um, many people wanting the resources, and not as many like hoops to jump through to make to get things you need. So,
do you think this
in
has
fact,
like
of some
any
of the best players, Midi is and Pinewood in the peninsula are kind of known, at least on the girls' side, for kind of taking kids, and even Woodside Priory taking kids midstream, whether after a freshman year or after a sophomore year and transferring. And the transfer rule is not that bad. I mean, they only have to sit out 6 weeks, so it's not that
do you
um, of a penalty.
do you think this has any similarities with NIL deals like what coaches are dealing with in college now that even Michigan player Scottie Pippen Jr., I believe, he entered the transfer portal. He was at Michigan while they were in the March Madness tournament. Do you think
Did that happen
coaches
this
in
year?
high school, yeah, coaches in high school and college both struggle with these resources?
Yeah, I mean, I think the loyalty, like, will you have a player? College coaches have more of a problem with that. I think, you know, there are some kids that'll go from one school to another. I was just talking to a fellow coach of mine saying that he just advised the kid that you know you don't want to play in too many different high schools. You don't want to have that reputation as someone who doesn't stick it out. Um, so, but I think that's rare unless you're big time like the Montverde or the Oak Hill
Yeah.
Academy or you know those schools, but Blair Academy. But I think in local high school, I don't think so. But I think what you are dealing with is trainers who train these kids who get paid by these parents, and the trainers are telling the parents, "Hey, your kid should play more. I don't know what the coach is doing." So a little more noise that coaches have to deal with. You have to be really sure of yourself in this day and age. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff you can't really control.
Yeah. What is your favorite part of your job, and can you like elaborate what a day in the life looks like for you in season as a teacher and coach, and then off season?
I mean, I think I have the greatest job because at school every day is different. Even though we have a schedule, I feel like every day is different. At our school, we have block scheduling. I think a lot of schools have gone that way. So we have all our classes Monday, and then half our classes Tuesday, Thursday, and half our classes Wednesday, Thursday, the Wednesday, Friday. So right away, Tuesday is different than Wednesday, Thursday is different than Friday. So that's fun. Sometimes there's an assembly. Uh, sometimes there's just like a special event, or I don't know. So maybe it's like a pop-up spirit day. So tons of fun. So like tomorrow I'll go in. I have class in the morning, teach honors calculus, and then I have office hours. I'm gonna have a student meet with me, go over one of their tests. Then I have another meeting, and then I have lunch, and then I teach another class uh, in the afternoon, another calculus class. And I don't coach right now, so um, I don't have practice. So what's nice about my job is good for parenting. I can get home, and that's one of the reasons I took the job. I can get home and be with you guys. One of my best friends when I was younger, his dad was a teacher, and I always was jealous that his dad would be home at 4 o'clock when all our other dads were like still working. So I wanted to be there for you and your sister. Um, and actually, I still doing basketball. Like setting up the schedule. We're already booked with our 24 games and two scrimmages and alumni scrimmage, and I'm now figuring out the practices with the boys varsity coach sharing the gym, and we're figuring out our summer schedule. So thinking about maybe some fundraising ideas. Got to write a proposal to try to get a shoot away in the gym. So from the booster club. So there's always something. That's why I love coaching basketball. It's like you're building something over the years and teaching. I have them the students for 1 year. I may have them again later, but I don't have as much long term uh, in contact with the students. So that's what I love about basketball. I'll watch them grow for 4 years, and they come back and play pickup and stuff like that. And when I'm teaching, actually back in the day when I was teaching, I taught sixth, ninth, and 12th grade at the same school. That was the best. So that's when it felt like a coach, actually. That teaching was also like coaching.
Okay, so you've obviously had a lot of success and ups. What was your biggest failure, and what was one thing that you learned from it?
Ah,
Or maybe not
I'd
taking
say
that
my biggest failure is
Duke.
when I came to Crystal the second time in 2009. I came and we didn't make the playoffs, um, and I really wanted to make the playoffs to give that group a chance. Thankfully, they were young. Actually, no, that's not true. We had 3 or 4 seniors that didn't get to go, but it was like a weird circumstance. One of our best players was actually living in Japan for the first semester, and he was one of our best players. And when he came back, our team was totally different. I think we missed the playoffs by 1 game, and I was new coach. It was always weird in the transition, and I really wanted to have not like kind of show them, hey, we made the playoffs, but that had to wait till the following year. So that's the only thing that bums me out. I really like that group of seniors, and I wanted them to have a taste of playoffs. And once that kid came back, we were like a whole different team. We were starting to play some good ball. So to not get a chance to make a run in the playoffs was kind of a bummer.
Or maybe it was not taking that Duke manager job. But just saying,
Yeah.
just saying.
Just to
Um,
clarify, I transferred from Penn, and I was the manager of Penn basketball team under Fran Dunphy, and then he was friends with Mike Krzyzewski from his Army days. He asked me if he wants to put a good word for me, and I decided I want to be the manager at Duke, or at least try out. And I would have saw Bobby Hurley, Grant Hill, Cherokee Parks. It was the year actually when they lost this, when Hurley was a senior, I think. They lost to
oh,
Jason
so
Kidd in the second round,
it
Cal.
was
But
after
the
their
next year they went to
90.
the final with Grant Hill against Arkansas and lost. But
Wait, was it their not? It was after their 91-92 run, right?
yeah, it was after 91 92, exactly.
Yeah.
Good
Um,
knowledge there.
yeah, I'm reading Five Banners by John Feinstein. Rest in peace.
Nice.
But um, very good.
Speaking of rest in peace, one of my other disappointing things was one of my players on one of my teams actually passed away in a violent act, and I just feel like, and I left that year, and always feel like, man, if I had stayed, would things be different? So wins or losses are important, like lives obviously matter. So that kind of still eats at me to this day. Very sad. I think when you
Okay,
coach and teach, people say try not to get too emotionally attached. I don't know how you can do that, but so you carry the emotions of lots of people, the students, the families, and everyone involved. So um, yeah, I can't hear you. You're mute. I'm mute.
if you could trade skills with any other coach in the world, dead or alive, which coach would it be? Why? Is it their offense, defense, their recruiting?
Um, if I could trade, what was the verb?
If you could trade any skills or like
Oh,
from a coach, like their recruiting, their offense, their defense.
I mean, I think I'd actually Brad Stevens, to be honest. I mean, Coach K, because I went to Duke. Um, Great guy, great leader, fiery, um, and did very conceptual basketball. Wasn't big play. pattern guy, which always drove me crazy, but now I understand it now as a coach. Although I think you need to have one pattern offense when you play a really good defense and move them around. But I like
Shout
Brad
out
Stevens.
to
Like his stuff is so simple. I mean, you go on YouTube and like the stuff he runs with the Celtics and just the ball screens he ran at Butler. I saw them. I didn't even realize what I was seeing. I saw him play Butler play Murray State, I think, in San Jose the year they made their first run. And I was like, this is unbelievable. The ball screen and the slips and the high-low passing. They're so well coached. So I really just Joseph, what I'm amazed is how do you make it simple enough? Because you have to have the terminology that you can either go one four, like just with a quick numbers or I don't know, face rub or whatever. How you can just um, keep it simple, but the communications makes sense and builds on itself. It's kind of like organizational design. And I feel like Brad Stevens was able to do that very well. You know, another guy who does that that I've been watching is Jerry Sloan, who is the Utah Jazz coach when John Stockton was around. And they said he only ran 20 plays his entire coaching career, and it was basically all side ball screen or cross screen, and he got guards to screen. So I would like to ask him how he got guards to be so physical. I think, and John Stockton too, because John Stockton was only 6 foot. Like how did, and Jeff Hornacek, like how did he get those guys not minding like screening guys who are like 6'8" and many more pounds above them. So I think Jerry Sloan or
okay.
Brad
What
Stevens, I'd
are
love to talk to. I think we're gonna have to have dinner soon, so we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Okay, so we're coming to an end here. Last two questions. What are the 5 words that describe you and why?
Hmm. Uh, Spontaneous. I like to do spontaneous things. Uh, Family man, because family is most important. Um, Inquisitive. I love to learn. I think that's what life is all about, learning new things. And energetic, enthusiastic. I think my enthusiasm, I like to bring a lot of enthusiasm to whatever situation I'm in.
Okay. I just wanted to see because I've been testing this thing out to see if they do a saying with 5 words or they go like I'm positive, funny cuz like mine would be like have fun, eats healthy food
Oh,
because those are like things that
you've been
describe me.
thinking about
So
that. That's very good. Yes.
it's kind of cool to see what different people respond. And I
Mm,
bet people in your coaching and teaching career have brought that up.
I like
Okay,
that.
last question. Before we wrap it up, what is your go-to pregame speech or saying to your players?
My go-to pregame speech, or if I ever need a big, well, first of all,
A
um,
miracle.
play hard. But no, my one that was the most successful, I beat my alma mater, is was about a story about how I didn't want to go on a roller coaster, and I said, "Oh, I'll just wait for the next time I come to the park." And the guy who I was with, it was a parent, and he was a pilot, and I was telling him how I'm afraid of heights, whatever. And he's like, "You can't wait till the next time you go in the park. You got to go now." And so it was like I still remember giving that speech to, it was the first time we were playing a team. We're going to play them again. And I was like, guys, you got to savor them. You got to take the moment. You can't wait for the next time. And a player came up afterwards and he's like, that was the best speech I ever heard. That's the reason why we won that game, coach. And I was like, oh, okay. So I like that idea of like, seize the moment. You never know if it's going to happen again. Don't wait. Don't hold anything back. And I'm starting to do that with my golf game too. You have to check it out. I'm just realizing I don't go for it all the time. I'm just gonna go. And I actually, to be honest, like in coaching, I feel like sometimes I play not to lose instead of playing to win. So I really want to change that next year.
Okay. Seize the moment, play to
Seize the
win.
moment.
You heard it here from Ned Diamond. Hope you enjoyed this episode and hope you listen in for the next episode of Off the Bench. See ya.
Thank you, Joseph. That